Mr. Chamisa spoke on the issues of building a team to help him take off in the coming elections. Tendai Biti plans to leave Zimbabwe to work for an Australian company, promising to return. Meanwhile, Mr. Chamisa continues training for a presidential election campaign. Mr. Umngadwa and ZANU-PF are planning to have a fake dialogue with CCC factions, aiming to deceive SADC region leaders and send a false message of unity in the country. As South African elections draw near, chaos rises in the newly formed MK party of Jacob Zuma, with the ANC capitalizing on the weaknesses of its opposition parties. There is great news for SADC. It may become a new group of oil-producing countries, including Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Namibia, as discoveries of oil become increasingly significant. Last week, Mr. Chamisa sent a video on his CNC, communicating the need to join hands and fight for democracy in Zimbabwe. He emphasized the need to build a team committed to freeing Zimbabwe from ZANU-PF. Mr. Chamisa also spoke about the ZiG currency. He didn't say much about it, only checking if the ZiG had reached the people. However, we know he said the ZiG currency was doomed to fail since no one trusts it. Quoting former Finance Minister Tendai Biti on the government's reputation for swapping people's US dollars for its new currency, similar to what occurred when the bond note was introduced. Tendai Biti, who is planning to leave the country after temporarily stepping down from politics, is set for an Australian fleet company but wishes to return and find the opposition united and in good leadership. However, his wishes seem unrealistic since he is a very prominent figure whom many people think could help reunite the opposition. It suggests that his relationship with Mr. Chamisa, the main opposition leader, is unclear, and there is great speculation that he has not been able to get Mr. Chamisa to talk. Mr. Chamisa shares scriptures to assert that Zimbabwe is not cursed but is becoming great again, aiming to feed nations. This aligns with his vision for a green Zimbabwe, capable of using initiatives like the Takwi Mukosi irrigation, which have only been discussed under Mr. Umngadwa's government without real action. Here are Mr. Chamisa's words: Zimbabwe's restoration. Our God will use Zimbabwe as a precious stone. Zimbabwe will help feed the world with beautiful produce. The curse is broken. The land will produce gold and silver, and new factories will be built. The citizens of Zimbabwe will be united, dignified, and prosperous. Zimbabwe has the Ministry of Reconciliation that will reunite the African people. Malachi 3 verse 12. Blessed Sabbath. #God is in it. Stay with us as we give you more details on the topics above about oil and SADC and South Africa elections on the table, MK Party, EFF Julius Malema, and the DA, and lastly, the current ruling ANC.